This is a poem written by Joel Silver. Some of you may know that Joel was taken ill a few days ago. I promise you he will return to our midst, but he asked me if I would read it in his place since he's unable to attend. Joel prepared some introductory notes, which are as follows. He said, "When I wrote this poem 11 years ago, Leslie and I had just returned from a tour of Auschwitz and other Nazi extermination camps in Central Europe. I read it publicly at Kol Shalom on Yom Kippur 2014. It is again a special honor to have it recited before our congregation. Why? Because I think it helps to understand why we read the martyrology section today on Yom Kippur when we are in the process of evaluating, confessing, and praying during our efforts to remake ourselves." Joel titled the poem Through the Gates. He also subtitled it, "Blessed Are You, Lord, who revives the dead." And he was very particular in asking that you keep that subtitle in mind as the poem nears its end. I stood there trembling as I passed through the gates, seized with dread and overcome by a deep sense of foreboding. Stopped in my tracks, afraid to move, I grasped my beloved, not knowing what to do, but driven by the overwhelming, inexorable, blunt force of history to take one step, then one more, and another, until I arrived at my place in line. There I stood, an observer in a chamber of evil, deep in the heart of darkness, not knowing what drew me to this place, where I saw what happened, but where I cannot comprehend why any human being would do what was done here. I felt I must be there, to stand in their places, to feel their presence, their poor, defenseless presence. I imagined where they were lined up, row after row, lost, separated, starved, beaten, demoralized, sick, weary, doomed, victims of unimaginable cruelty, day after day, night after endless night, waiting in darkness, not knowing, maybe not even believing in anything, not even the possibility embodied in one more day. Then I heard a quiet voice inviting me aside, where I met a gentle soul stationed there by an inexplicable force to watch over this place, to guard against the inevitable diminution of memory. One soul standing guard, sounding the truth of history, a guardian of all that the world conveniently would rather forget. Here he earnestly stands day after day, night after night, making his rounds, trumpeting his tragic sounds of terror, minding his precious treasure of each tiny bit of horrifying fact, which now is all that remains of an incomplete, tortured, unfulfilled memory of everyday life. Each bit entitled but unable to be simple or complicated, whatever it was, whatever its potential would have allowed. Each bit a piece of broken spirituality whose life's purpose and existence were desecrated, reduced to the contents of a tin cup of cold, watery broth and a rotten slice of bread, and then to dust. Each unique bit of potential shattered and destroyed, then lost forever in a dark cloud of smoke. That's where he stood, offering to help me, his quiet, sensitive presence signifying that even as he suffered through the dense fog of cruel and excruciatingly painful experience, bearings lost in the midst of fear and darkness, with no direction in sight, no matter which way he turned, this man nonetheless found inner strength, retained his ethical core, and selflessly watched over and cared for a stranger. Here he momentarily, defiantly broke through the fog, remembering that no matter what the risk, just one simple deed, just one act of kindness would affirm and preserve the meaning of humanity in the depths of hell. He beckoned me closer to his side, where silence and darkness surrounded us, giving me time to adjust to this place where just an instant ago in time he fell victim, standing in line in the deafening, still echoing, stupefying chaos that shepherded, then showered his and countless innocent souls across the cruel, arbitrary, unimaginable, premature, terrifying finish line. Here he expelled one last breath, begging for but denied, one last moment with his beloved. We paused for a quiet moment, absorbing each other's presence. Then he invited me to sit with him in his quiet corner, where he told me that every day he tries but fails to understand, knowing only one thing, that he cannot comprehend the incomprehensible evil that happened here. I asked him to tell me about his family. We sat holding hands as we shed tear after tear for his parents, grandparents, brother and sister, his brilliant, beautiful, and brave young wife, 3 beautiful, innocent children. Birth, their indictment, sentenced without trial, robbed of all that could have been and should have been. Here he grieved, remembering each sacred fragment of the torn fabric of their lives that once warmed him and gave him purpose, now reduced to bits of dust. I asked him if he believed in Hashem. He looked at me for a long moment, then rose and gently said goodbye, needlessly thanking me for a moment of my time. As he walked away to continue his endless rounds, he looked back and said, "All I can do is to ask you to remember them, honor them, pause to take sweet breaths for them, live meaningful moments of life for them, do acts of kindness in their names, do what you can do to sanctify their existence, kindle and tend to their memories, imagine the memories they never had. Stand by their sacred flame, watch it, absorb it, use its light, its warmth to engage and care for the fragile life of humanity. Stand as a beacon of light, illuminating a pathway all the way through the gates of justice. Stand as a pillar of conscience, supporting the earth as a temple to revive their spirits in the prayers and actions of your life. That," he said as he passed from sight, "is all you need to understand, all you need to remember, all you need to do."